Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Law Project, and I'm Bhavtosh. Today, we are going to talk about something very basic, very simple about your journey to become a lawyer. So, whether you are planning to write CLAT in future, or you are already preparing for CLAT, or you have dreamt of becoming a lawyer in future. So, if any of these resonates with you, or if you already are studying in a law school, this video can be absolutely relevant and helpful for your personal and professional growth. Okay. So the first thing is that what makes the lawyers think differently. See, इन दिस सोसाइटी हम लोग दो कैटेगरीज में बांट सकते हैं लोगों को, लेमैन एंड लॉमैन. ओके. लेमैन people are the common people who don't understand the law, who don't read differently, who don't think differently, who don't act differently. Okay, they just act like normal people. But then the lawmen, people who are studying law or who are lawyers, they look at things differently. They have a different perspective. What brings that perspective on, or what is that perspective, ये सारी चीजें हम लोग इस वीडियो के अंदर देखेंगे. ठीक है. सो इट्स बेसिकली द मेंटल हैबिट that separates a lawyer from a layman. Okay. And since you are going to become a lawyer, you need to understand what sort of perspective you should develop in order to grow. So the first thing that you have to understand is that facts are same for everybody. Okay. But a layman would look at the facts differently, and a lawman will look at it at differently. So, you give 10 people the exact same story like it is mentioned here, and a lawyer will ask the one question nobody has even thought of. That is the perspective. That means either you are thinking out of the box, or you are imagining things that would not come to a normal person's mind. So yes, if you ask me that, sir, what should be my perspective, that's how, that's what kind of perspective we should really have. That to think out of the box, to think what is unthinkable. Okay, to imagine what is unimaginable. All right. Now there are three things that actually separate your legal mind from a normal layman ordinary mind. Skepticism is the first. What is skepticism? You question everything. You don't assume anything. You don't believe anything. You don't assume anything. You don't presume anything. You don't imply anything. You just question everything. If this has happened, then what about this? Okay. So even, a great lawyer is somebody, or a great legal mind is something that finds a question from within an answer. Can you find a question from within an answer? If you develop that skill, you are closer to the dream of becoming a great lawyer, a super lawyer. Okay. So never assume anything, never believe a story, always try to find loopholes in the story, always try to question the story, try to question the facts, and you will see that you have come up or come out with some uniquely different perspective. Now, then there is a structure. Okay. So when you study law or when you practice as a lawyer, you know, there is an entire picture in front of you of facts and everything, right? What happened, chain of events, everything. So it's all chaotic. ठीक है. पूरा फैला हुआ है, पूरा अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड है. तो आपका जॉब क्या होता है? उसको स्ट्रक्चर देना. To bring organization within it, to bring structure within it. So you form an issue, you look at the rule, then you look at the application, and then you conclude. ठीक है. एक तरीके से हम भी बोल सकते हैं कि एक अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड इंफॉर्मेशन को ऑर्गेनाइज करना is the second skill, or I would say the perspective that separates you from a layman. Can you organize the unorganized? Okay. And the third one, which is very, very crucial, is a lawyer, a great lawyer, is not somebody who just can argue from one side. It's actually somebody who can argue from both sides. Okay. Even if you don't have to. Right. So let me tell you something very interesting. There used to be a lawyer, and once he was arguing a case in the court. He was a busy lawyer, so he had a lot of cases, a lot of files, and a lot of clients. So you sometimes forget that who is he representing in the court. So one day it happened that he had a lot of matters on that particular day, और उनके वो भूल गए कि वो किसको represent कर रहे हैं. Okay, let's assume there are two parties, A and B. So actually He was supposed to represent Mr. A. He was the client. But in the court, since he forgot, he started arguing for B. He started making all his arguments and representations on behalf of Mr. B. Now, naturally, everybody was stunned in the court. Everybody was surprised. His own staff, the judges, everybody knew that he's arguing for the wrong person. He's not even a client. And Mr. B is, of course, feeling very happy because he was a great lawyer. So he thought that he would now win the case. And Mr. A on the other side was very upset, naturally. But just before he was about to conclude the arguments, his junior came, intervened, and told him on a piece of paper that, sir, you're arguing for the wrong party. You've got to argue for Mr. A. We have taken money from Mr. A, not Mr. B. We are the opponents. Now, this is where, see, he did not create a panic, or he did not simply apologize. He did not withdraw his proceedings. What he did, he took a U-turn from there. What he did, he simply said that, my lord, these would have been the arguments had I been representing Mr. B. These would have been the arguments had I been representing Mr. B. But since I am an opponent, now I would like to one by one demolish my own arguments. I would like to demolish the possible arguments on behalf of Mr. B. What a beautiful story to understand one thing, that if you are representing A, fine, that's great. But you have to think also from the perspective of B. And only when you can create a supporting version for B and you can demolish that your own version, okay, you become one of the greatest lawyers the world can ever have. So always learn to argue from both sides, okay? Even if you are approached by one client, always think that what could be the possible arguments in support of the other party. That will help you become better with your own case. That will help you become better with your own case approach. All right. So, how the perspective really shifts. So if a tree falls, let's say your neighbor's tree crashed onto your parked car, सब लोग बोलेंगे कि that's so unfair, they have to pay for this. But that's a law, that's a layman statement, right? As a lawyer, आपको क्या बोलना है? आप बोलोगे whether there was a problem with the tree, आप बोलोगे कि क्या उनको पता था, आप बोलोगे कि किसका मेंटेनेंस, किसका जॉब था मेंटेन करने का, कितने टाइम से ये ट्री यहाँ पर है, क्या प्लेंटिफ की कोई गलती थी खुद के पार्ट पे. सो यूल आस्क क्वेश्चंस, you'll have tens of questions. So when you have questions, when you challenge the existence of something, that's how you develop the perspective of a lawyer, which is essentially different from a layman. All right. Now, why is it important? Because, if you are becoming a lawyer, you will on a daily basis deal with contracts, conflicts, disputes, and therefore this is a skill that you've definitely got to have. In the next module, we are going to look at to find out the hidden assumption that things have, and things that can provide strength or weaken your argument based on how you look at them or how you assume things to be. All right. So I'll give you one more example on this. Let's say, you see a man with a woman and two kids in a shopping complex. The first thing that will come to anybody's mind is that it's a family, right? It will look like a family. Husband, wife, do bacche unke. But then a lawyer's mind might work differently. Maybe they are not. Maybe the woman is having an extramarital affair with the man. Maybe the man is having an extramarital affair with the woman. Maybe they're just two friends meeting with their own children. Okay. Or maybe they are brothers and sisters. There are hundreds of possibilities. There are so many countless possibilities. Your ability to look at those possibilities and present it to the judge is the ability that makes you, that sets you apart as a lawyer. Okay. So now in the next module, we'll look at the assumption part. And till then, thank you and good luck.